Hey everybody, hope all is well. Wow, we got Migrants and Martha's Vineyard. Huh. Interesting. And now we have them at the VP's house. Kamala Harris. Let's take a look at this clip. But hey, they told you who they were going to invest in, so why are we surprised? Now reports are saying, oh, they're realizing it's kind of expensive to house, clothe, and shelter people. You think? You think? It's not like somebody's coming here with an RV attached to their backs. Well, how did you not think this through? The same for the Americans that have to be housed. A home, that should be a human right. They have to be housed, clothed, fed. You think? So, let's go ahead and look at this brief clip, please.
Breaking news for you. This has been a busy morning already. We are going live to pictures from Washington, D.C. And the latest report is that there have been immigrants by bus dropped off at Vice President Kamala Harris's residence. This is just outside her home. You can see from these pictures dozens, I would say more than 100. I don't know if there are multiple hundreds of people outside on the lawn there, but not a small number of people outside, not the White House, but Vice President Harris's home address. You are looking live in Washington, D.C. This is the latest breaking news, potentially another contention between Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and the northeastern cities that he has deemed a home for those who have crossed illegally into the country, getting the attention of the federal government. That's what he says his intentions are, to make sure that they know exactly what border towns along our border with Mexico are actually dealing with. The inundation of people, a lack of resources. Washington, D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser has now asked for the federal government to step in. They have not taken any action yet, but Mitch, this is certainly the sight to see all of these people just standing around on the front yard of the Vice President of the United States.
Yes, this is the Naval Observatory there. In Washington.
Say that one more time.
This is the Naval Observatory there, and that is the official residence of the Vice President. So Kamala Harris is living and working there, and these immigrant buses have been dropped off right there. They've been put in her lap, essentially. It seems like this is an increasingly aggressive campaign, not only from Governor Abbott, but you just heard Dre Clark's report about migrants being sent to Martha's Vineyard. Now, that's an island. So he's flying them from Florida on a plane to Martha's Vineyard. Now you have immigrants being dropped off in front of the vice president's residence. The goal of these border governors is to bring this issue home to people that don't usually have to deal with it. Governors Abbott in Texas, Ducey in Arizona, now DeSantis in Florida have been saying for months, this shouldn't be just our problem. And in the last 3 or 4 months or so, they have decided it's not just going to be our problem. And you are seeing evidence of that at the Naval Observatory, the residence of the Vice President Kamala.
Now, hey, the line has been drawn in the sand who they're going to invest in. So this right here is the issue. They're just standing around. Guess what? We're going to have more Americans too just standing around because they're going to lose their homes, their apartments. The foreclosures are going to be on the rise. So this makes no sense to bring all these people in here. We don't have enough places for the Americans. But I get it. The replacement is here, and some people don't believe it. It's cool. Seeing is believing. Give it time. Now, this here, the people came here, they're immigrants, illegal immigrants. They just come into the country. Now they're going to have to go ahead and have a place for them to live, feed, and clothe them. What about the Americans that are here and falling on hard times? Sure, some people are doing great. Okay? No complaints. But that's not everybody. And most people that are doing great, doing well, they're not, because they don't care about the legal immigrants. To be honest, they don't care about the average American. Trust and believe that. Now, look at this. This article here says Democrats believe immigration is not just a problem to be solved. It is a defining aspect of the American character and our shared story. The Democratic Party platform. Democrats are fighting for every immigrant who feels threatened by Donald Trump's election. We will not stand by and watch families be torn apart. Democrats in Congress and in states and cities across the country are already standing up to Trump's hatred and bigotry to defend their immigrant neighbors. Well, hold the phone. Let me read this one here. So thanks to President Obama, hundreds of thousands of dreamers have been able to receive a temporary status that allows them to work, study, pay taxes, and contribute to the communities they grew up in. His administration has made a tremendous difference by prioritizing immigration enforcement so that it is focused on those with criminal records and doesn't arbitrarily separate families, and Democrats are fighting to protect that progress. Again, his administration has made a tremendous difference by prioritizing immigration enforcement. So it is focused on those with criminal records and doesn't arbitrarily separate families, and Democrats are fighting to protect that progress. So immigration is an issue to be solved. These people have come here illegally, and they're prioritizing immigration enforcement. And you're going to fight for every immigrant who feels threatened by Donald Trump. So maybe I'm a little slow. You guys can educate me. I can stand for to be corrected, not a problem. So it sounds like to me that you're doing something specifically for the immigrants. That's what it sounds like to me. And you're going to have to now because guess what? They're here. So it sounds like to me this is their platform. The Democrats, Democrats.org, where we stand, they're fighting for every immigrant who feels threatened by Donald Trump's election. Before it's over and we can agree to disagree, a lot of people are going to understand. I kid you not.
Developing story plan.
A lot of people are going to understand when he was saying, hey, keeping illegal immigrants out and go through the process and stay in your country until you get processed. A lot of people are going to understand, but it'll be too late. Lower class working people, these people are going to need a job. It is going to be your job. And it's not fear, it's fact. But this right here, Democrats are fighting for every immigrant. So it sounds like they are doing something for the immigrant. However, and these people, they are on the yard in front of the house of Kamala Harris. So they are doing something for the immigrants. They're doing a lot. I mean, again, we got Americans in the street, homeless shelters, sleeping on subways, on wherever they can. But they are doing something specifically for the illegal immigrants. And a lot of black folks want to box up with me. However, remember this lovely quick saying, and everybody heard this.
About that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
But it looks like to me you're doing something, and you got over 90% of the black votes. But it looks like to me that you're doing something that's only going to benefit the immigrant. I'm not an illegal immigrant. I was born here. So you're doing something for them. This is specific to them. Who's fighting for the Americans? Who's fighting for the Americans? Black America, are they fighting for you? They're fighting for every immigrant. Let's not act brand new. She made it clear. And you have the right to vote for whomever you want. But they're fighting for every immigrant. They will not stand by all these families are torn apart. Newsflash, not just black America, but a lot of families are going to be torn apart. Yet you better believe they are. Through homelessness. Oh, yeah, and by the way, when they're torn apart through homeless, if the schools find out that a family is homeless, they're supposed to turn it in. CPS gets involved, and they come and pick up the children. To me, that sounds like families torn apart. Oh, and that's how people up and move around. If a school finds out that a child is homeless, they're supposed to report it. Or you don't have a place, you can't afford to, you don't have a home for your children. They report it. The state takes the kids and put them in foster care. Things like that, a lot of people don't realize until it happens. It has happened to some families. School found out that they're homeless, they're hungry. Where do you live? What's the address? Don't really have one. They come and take the kids in foster care, and the parents are on your own. The foster care are not taking the parent, they're taking the child. Doesn't that sound like families been torn apart? Because they don't have resources? Who is going to do something specifically for the American that has already worked and studied and paid taxes, falling on hard times? But these folks just showed up. They're not going to wait. They're not going to follow the process. They don't have to now, thanks to this administration. Haven't paid into a system, just showed up, just popped up here. So yeah, they belong hey, this is what they're fighting for. You've given out the welcome mat. While a lot of Americans are going to be suffering, you've given out the welcome mat. So guess what? Hey, I understand them, going for extra ride. See, people don't mind issues like this here as long as it's the NIMBY syndrome, not in my backyard. Because normally politicians, they can enact these laws and things of that nature and these procedures. However, they don't have to deal with the day-to-dayness. That goes to people like you and me. So now it's in your face. This is interesting. Simply sat here on YouTube, people. We can agree to disagree. Let me know your thoughts. And I am out.